Hello, welcome to Mentoring with the Masters. My name is Jennifer Kuyrkendall. I'm the Third Circuit representative for the Young Lawyers Division Board of Governors. Today I have the pleasure of bringing to you Scott Hawkins, who is a former president of the Florida Bar. Scott, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Today we're going to be talking about a topic near and dear to your heart, preparation. Why is this such an important topic for young lawyers?
Preparation, in my judgment, is an absolute critical feature of being a good lawyer. I'm not aware, frankly, of a successful lawyer who does not devote meaningful time to preparing whatever the project is, whether it's an appellate argument or a calendar call argument or a closing argument or a negotiation or an interview or a transaction of various types. Good preparation is key to serving your clients well, and it's key to preparing mentally for the project that you're working on. My impression from having been in this business now with Jones, Foster, Johnston, and Stubbs nearly 30 years is that a lot of young lawyers don't devote sufficient time or thought, frankly, to what's required to prepare for the given challenge. So I'm urging through this conversation that new lawyers think of preparation as a mindset, not just an act, not just a one-time event for the project, but actually a full-time 24/7 mindset that you're going to be a prepared lawyer whatever you do. And this applies in the office, it applies with how you work with your staff, it applies obviously with how you interact with adversaries, with the court. It applies as well when you serve various community organizations or you serve on various boards. People expect lawyers to think better than the average. And part of thinking better is preparing to think better. And thinking better is a product of advanced, effort, if you will, in identifying the key issues to be addressed in whatever the project is. And so I frankly think it's rock bottom that young lawyers, if they want to succeed, need to learn to develop a habit and a mindset of being prepared.
Okay. Why would you say this is an important mentoring topic?
Well, I think that a couple of things arise. First of all, we have more and more young lawyers who are entering the profession on their own. And I want to stress for young lawyers who are in that circumstance that they need to make a key commitment to being prepared, and being prepared will become a part of their brand. It will become part of the hallmark of how they serve their clients. I stress this to young lawyers because those who are starting on their own do not necessarily have the benefit of a senior partner down the hall or a senior associate down the hall who will be able to lead them along. For those lawyers who enter the profession in the government sector or in private firms, I can tell you that to be recognized by superiors, you need to be recognized for being a lawyer who's spotted the issues and adequately prepared. The worst thing in the world is to get in a situation where you don't have an answer for a question that arises. Happens a lot if you haven't prepared. Part of preparation is identifying all the possible issues that could arise. So as I said at the very outset, I believe preparation is a mindset. It's the product of a habit, commitment to a process of being ready, being practice ready all the time. And if you don't adopt that mindset, it's very hard to consistently succeed.
Well, in preparation, if you're known to be prepared, you're going to be developing a very good reputation. But to just have a blanket statement, be prepared, is that kind of broad, or is there a way that you could narrow that down for individuals?
Yes, being prepared obviously is a broad statement. And I'm not meaning to suggest that these comments particularly pertain to like trial work or real estate work. So in the sense, however, being prepared is broad. It applies across the board. But with every project you have, there are different things that need to be considered to be prepared. I'll refer to a famous quote by someone that many in the audience will know. John Wooden, famous coach from UCLA, he coined the phrase, Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. The point being that you have to prepare for every game. You have to prepare for every defense you're going to face. Stanford is going to have a different approach to the game than Boise State or than USC. That's what John Wooden is saying. You have to prepare to succeed, and if you don't prepare, you are preparing to fail. The point being is that, yes, the notion of being prepared is very broad, but it applies specifically to every transaction and project you work on. So in that sense, it's actually very narrow. So the key point is figuring out what you have to do for the project at hand. If you're going to be giving, for example, a presentation to a county government on a land use issue, the issues you need to think about there are considerably different than if you're trying to negotiate the hiring of a new lawyer or you're trying to negotiate the terms of a real estate contract. The central point here is that you've got to develop the mindset of trying to figure out in advance, what do I need to know? What do I need to think about to be prepared? And that's the point I want to stress. Again, lawyers are supposed to think better. And part of thinking better is preparing. That's the point I want to stress. A few things I want to say. I do a lot of trial work. I do a lot of corporate litigation. There are a few things I've learned along the way that help you be prepared. Good preparation can lead to good organization, and in the trial context, that is very, very important. So a few things that I do are when I get an idea about a witness, I will create a folder for that witness, and I'll put that idea on a piece of paper and put it in that folder. So at the end of the day, I have a folder for each witness I have thought about deposing or thought about trying to learn something about or interviewed, and then I will use those folders to begin to put together the trial folders that I have per witness. And within each folder, I will have the ideas that I've collected that I want to emphasize on direct or cross-examination. I do the very same thing with preparation of an opening statement and a closing argument. I do the very same thing when I give appellate presentations or when I'm appearing before a governmental body, which I do from time to time in my business. In other words, you got to develop a system for taking your thoughts and locking them away in an organized fashion. Another thing I do, which I believe is applicable across all types of practice, is when you're working with a case or a transaction that has a lot of documents, I try to identify the core documents in the case or the core exhibits in the case. I will put together a notebook with those core documents, and I will annotate on the document itself things that are of concern. You know, what did this word mean? Why was this word changed? And all that information, all that effort, all that preparation, if you will, all that thought is reflected in the notebook. That notebook becomes a repository of all your thoughts relative to those key documents, and you have them in one place. It's another mechanical way to get prepared for your way of putting all your thoughts in one place. Now, I want to stress one thing about thinking. As an aside, there's a maxim that the harder you prepare, the luckier you become. There's a corollary to that, and that is this. When you're preparing for a matter, if you start early, it reduces your stress, but it also is a way to engage your mind and allow your subconscious to work on the project at hand. Have you ever heard the story of the guy who goes to bed thinking about a problem, wakes up in the middle of the night, writes down a solution? That's a product of the subconscious working. And it pertains, again, regardless of whether it's trial, appellate, transactional practice, you will get ideas as your subconscious integrates your thinking, which again comes from preparation. So preparation reduces stress. Preparation also unleashes the creative resources in your subconscious. I firmly believe that. And in the end, you're better prepared and you can better serve your client.
Any other parting tips that you would give?
Just remember, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. The more prepared you are, the luckier you become. And the more prepared you are, the more you unlock the creative abilities that you have in your own mind. Absolutely.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for joining us and coming back. And if you have not already watched Scott's video that he filmed for us last year on time management. It's also an excellent resource, cites multiple books and as well. So thank you again for filming that and coming back and joining us this year.
Thank you, Jennifer. Great project by the YLD.
Thank you. All right.